On this episode of China Uncensored, how to construct a giant mountain out of a molehill. Welcome back to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. All the Chinese Communist Party wanted was for the world to look on in admiration at the once every 5 years party congress. Nothing like a fake election to trick the world into thinking you have democracy. Of course, to do that, the Communist Party needed to make sure all the world's attention on China was positive. So they've done things like shut down factories near Beijing to ensure blue skies. They restricted chemical transport along the Yangtze River to avoid the risk of an embarrassing environmental disaster. They even hired a bunch of grandmothers to publicly shame people into behaving better during the Congress. Yes, Big Granny is watching you. What I'm saying is, they've basically put the whole country in lockdown. So as long as nothing happened that would, draw a giant spotlight on the Communist Party's heavy-handed authoritarianism, everything would be fine. As long as they don't do something stupid like create a major international incident in Hong Kong. Shoot. Shoot for the CCP. I thrive when the CCP does stupid things. And honestly, it's amazing how badly the CCP bungled Hong Kong last week. It all has to do with this man, British activist and friend of the show, Benedict Rogers. You see, he's been particularly vocal about all the bad stuff the Chinese regime is trying to do in Hong Kong. Things like sentencing student activists to jail time, or purging democratically elected officials. So when Rogers was planning a trip to Hong Kong in October, he started getting threatening messages from the Chinese embassy in the UK, and a warning that he would be denied entry. Okay, threatening a British citizen. Surprisingly, it backfired. Rogers flew to Hong Kong anyway, but he didn't make it out of the Hong Kong airport. He was stopped by security and then deported without being given any reason. And remember how the Communist Party wanted to make sure absolutely nothing went wrong during the party congress? Well, cue international backlash from the media and from the UK government.
Ben Rogers is an outstanding and articulate champion of freedom, democracy, human rights and the rule of law in Asia and elsewhere, well known to members on both sides of the House, and his treatment was frankly utterly scandalous. Those responsible have certainly not heard the last of it. Of that, I think, we can be sure.
Oops. And while Chinese officials are used to inviting dissidents to tea, i.e. summoning them to have a stern talk, this time the UK said to the Chinese ambassador, "Your tea time's got nothing on us. Can I offer you a scone with clotted cream?" And then 12 international lawyers wrote a letter about how Hong Kong's rule of law is under threat. Quick, the CCP needs a distraction. So, does anyone want to watch a 3.5-hour speech about national rejuvenation? Whoa, sorry, I think I was having a Chinese dream. Back to Rogers. He's decided that in the wake of all this, he wants to set up an NGO in London geared toward influencing policymakers on Hong Kong issues. If only the CCP had literally done nothing and just let Rogers visit his friends in Hong Kong and then leave again, none of this would have happened. But it's too late for making smart decisions. Now it's damage control time. State-run media, give us your spin. Ha ha! Decolonization in action. Yes, this wasn't about eroding the freedoms of Hong Kong. It was about decolonizing Hong Kong from the evil British. Any country that would try to exert control over Hong Kong is evil. As long as that country is Great Britain and not China. Maybe Hong Kong Chief Executive Carrie Lam can explain why the decision to deny entry to Rogers was totally legit.
Immigration matters under the Basic Law are Hong Kong's high degree of autonomy. But if immigration matters become matters of foreign affairs, then under the Basic Law, foreign affairs like defense are matters for the Central People's Government.
So Hong Kong has a high degree of autonomy and immigration matters are managed independently by Hong Kong, except when the CCP wants to control them directly, which it can do because Hong Kong has a limited degree of autonomy. It's almost like she can't get the story straight because there is no independent rule of law in Hong Kong anymore and decisions are arbitrarily made. Okay, let's try someone else. Maybe Lawrence Ma, a pro-Beijing barrister in Hong Kong, can get us out of this train wreck. He knows how the law works. He explains that Hong Kong has the rule of law, and its immigration isn't just subject to the whims of Beijing. He gives us an example. We have denied entry for people who come in for political purposes. For example, in 2006, a bunch of Falun Gong organizers from Taiwan wanted to come in for a conference for cultural purposes, and we have refused entry. That's just more proof of what Beijing is doing. That's the opposite of the point you wanted to make. Forget it. Let's go back to Carrie Lam. Is there anything you can say to put out this fire?
So you certainly can't exclude the possibility that Chris Patten might be denied entry on a future visit?
Well, I can't exclude any possibility because immigration matters will change depending on the case.
Yeah.
You just said that Hong Kong could potentially kick out even the last British governor of Hong Kong if he tried to visit. Cue international media backlash. Well, certainly this hasn't come back to bite anyone. As this editorial from the South China Morning Post says, if we really want to make world news, let's ban Chris Patten. Had Benedict Rogers been allowed in, he would have visited the jailed Occupy youngsters, criticized the authorities, and not attracted global media attention. But hey everyone, the Chinese company Tencent has made a mobile game that lets you clap for Xi Jinping's speeches. Surely that will distract you. So what do you think about the party's bungled attempts to smooth things over for the 19th Party Congress? Leave your comments below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time. You know, it's hard to keep track of how many times the Chinese Communist Party has bungled its international image. Wait, no it's not. You can just visit ChinaUncensored.tv where we upload full half-hour episodes of the show every Friday and get the complete rundown. Why, if I were you, I'd be on ChinaUncensored.tv right now.